So, did you have some player deaths again?
Yes, we did.
Can I tell me the story?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you. Because I don't know if RPG is. He made a new character, but I just pinged him, and I don't see that he's online, so he may be asleep. Um, so I'll go over a recap for last session. The company kind of staggered out of the Black Leech Rift and found a derelict barge that was hung up on its anchor, and Hagen and Agramar had swum out to try to free it, and they had some difficulty poling the barge and attempted to guide it to the other side of the river. While they were doing that, a blighted human abomination rose from the hold of the barge, and Hagen, as he's trying to pull, got his pole stuck or something, in some rocks, and he was lifted up off the barge into the water. And that's where we kind of began last session. Agramar began to fight the abomination as Hagen swam towards and tried to regain his feet upon the barge, while the rest of the company ran along the shore and could really only watch from their vantage point. Agramar was nearly killed before he and Hagen dispatched the blighted human, but they were really unable to manage to get to the barge, to direct the barge to the other side, and eventually they decided they would just swim back to shore as the barge kind of careened downriver. At this point, after that encounter and fight, they decided they were going to take a rest, and Hagen had scouted downriver a little bit while the rest were trying to recover, especially Agramar, because he was pretty beaten up. And he found this enormous kind of gnarled tree along the bank of the river that was outside the tree line, and in the direction they were traveling towards the bridge camp. The tree was huge, 20 meters, 30 meters,
Very unusual.
Yeah, 60 to 90 feet high. And he came back and told the company about this huge tree, and they decided, well, we need to rest overnight because Agramar was pretty beaten up, and they wanted to wait a little bit. And so the next morning they decided to continue on their trek kind of southwest towards the bridge camp, the camp on the side of the bridge over the Malgomor on the path towards Karvosti. And they came to the spot where Hagen said the tree was, and it wasn't there anymore. They saw this long kind of furrows leading down the riverbank, and most of the company just disbelieved Hagen had ever seen the tree. You're
full of shit.
Right. They came around a narrow spit, which is kind of right here on the map. I'll show you. They came around a kind of narrow spit on the map, and as they crested across that spit, there was this huge giant tree kind of sprawled across the narrowness of the beach between, mostly at the water's edge, but, the beachhead right there was pretty narrow. Each of the company, excepting Kai, saw something within the tree that enticed them. Hagen and Adela saw a map carved into the trunk of the tree, and each of them saw something depicting something slightly different or slightly to their desires. And Agramar saw a suit of Templar armor leaning up against the far side. And so the three of them were kind of enticed close to the tree to inspect this map that was carved into the side of the tree, and this armor that was laying up against the tree in kind of ones and twos. Hagen and Adela went first, and then Agramar, who was holding back, suddenly sees this set in armor, and they go forward. Kai didn't see anything, really had no idea what they were doing, and Gutorm stayed back also. Essentially what happens as they were enticed closer, the illusion of what they saw was broken as the monstrous tree monstrous thing, whatever it was, attacked them. Agramar and Adela became ensnarled in the crushing limbs of the tree and were borne aloft high as the tree pulled them closer into its center. And Hagen made a staggering retreat away. And despite their best efforts, Kai sent in his mismade spider into combat. In the end, Hagen and Kai and Guttorm could just follow the tree as it was stomping into Davokar with Agramar and Adela in its branches, and eventually gave up when they realized that Agramar and Adela were lost, and they staggered back towards the edge of the river. And they could hear this giant monstrosity of a tree crashing through Davokar until that sound just kind of dwindles away. And Guttorm, Kai, and Hagen are all that's left of the company. They've lost Agramar and Agramar and Adela, and Kai's spider servant. And we left them at the edge of the Malgomor just as they escaped the forest, and the sound of the monstrosity moving deeper into Davokar kind of dies away. And that's how they lost Agramar and Adela. Any questions about that or any comments?
Guttorm starts to think these forests are really dangerous.
Starts?
I think it's all of Davokar is dangerous.
Yeah, so that's where you find yourself. It's probably near midday when you stagger out of the forest. Hagen, Kai, and Guttorm, you've lost Adela and Agramar.
Yeah, because Guttorm doesn't have any of the original crew around him anymore, does he?
No, he's the last one of who came from Karvosti to take the elven emissary to the Hall of 1,000 Tears. Kai joined, and they had taken up the task of hunting down the head of the forest spirit, the Enoch, that Tierra Tiana asked if you would undertake, and that's how they made it to this point. Having lost a number of people along the way.
I feel this has to affect Guttorm in some way. Losing
I would think so.
Yeah,
losing all these friends.
You're kind of the last man standing, right?
Yeah, and
Is
with
this-
this... Go ahead.
Is this like an obvious effect it's having on him?
He's
I
very
think you would
melancholy.
see Guttorm more in silence by himself more than usual. Maybe with some looks towards the new crew he doesn't feel like he knows that well.
Well, don't worry, Guttorm. I'm sure if you're willing, I could give you the equipment to make sure you never lose anyone again.
No.
My character raises an eyebrow a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, I think Guttorm during this fight with this monstrous tree, you just peppered it with arrows, tink, 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 but to no avail. Like, you stood off and just watched Adela and Agramar. Agramar gets crushed and he's completely limp. Adela fights for a while up in the branches for quite some time, probably yelling and screaming and fighting back as any barbarian would, until she's eventually crushed inside the forest and you lose her voice. Guttorm, you just lose these two barbarians, having lived at Karvosti for quite some time and peppered the tree with as many arrows as you could, but it had no effect whatsoever.
Tom reason, Tom has a feeling Adela died happy in battle. Did she?
I don't know. That would be a question for
I think it's
RPG.
a safe assumption. I don't know about the happy, but satisfied would probably be a good word.
Yeah, satisfied is a better word. I can agree with that.
Mhm. So you're there mid-afternoon. It's spring. It's early spring, and the sun is bright. It shines off the river Malgomor, and the river just flows like in these little white casts, but you could just feel it flowing. Hagen can tell you as he swam through it that it had quite a bit of pool. And would you stay there and lament the loss of these two barbarians, or would you make good use of the light and stagger southwest?
I would kind of leave it. I would defer to Gudtorm as to if he wanted to reflect for a while, I guess is the word.
Light, dark. I don't care where we walk.
I has already started walking.
Okay. Well, then we'll catch up.
Right, Kai, you're like trudging along. Like, does it affect Kai at all? Like, or is he just, he hasn't really probably been outside the Hall of a Thousand Tears very often. And he's kind of an odd elf.
This is the most Kai has interacted with a non-elves since they stopped letting him near the abducted humans. One or two experiments may have gone awry, and so this is just a different world for him at the moment.
Yeah. Humans are fragile. They don't quite live quite as long as elves, but he hasn't been outside, even in Davokar. He probably knows the lore of Davokar and the planting of the forest and the darkness which it's trying to hold back. So the company kind of trudge southwest after losing Adela and Agramar along the banks of the Malgomor in the available light. RPG Lothar is on his horse.
He is indeed.
What is he doing up this way of the Malgomor?
I imagine that he is traveling. I'm trying to remember where we are.
Yeah, we're kind of right where the marker is. Northeast along the edge of the Malgomor on the northern side.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's probably traveling probably south, maybe for like taxation reasons, tithing.
And is he still a Wrathguard, or is he on a special mission?
Oh, I don't. He's not quite a Wraith Guard yet.
Okay.
It was a little short.
He was a little short.
He's in training.
Not in height.
Okay.
Yeah, that night.
So he's not hunting anything specific as he travels up the Malgomor.
No.
Okay. So you're traveling up the Malgomor. What's your horse's name?
Butterby.
Butterby. And how many hands tall is she? Or is it a mare or a stallion?
Stallion, I think.
Okay.
Hands tall. I don't know what that means in measurement.
I think big would be like 16, right, Gene?
Yeah, roughly. Would be pretty big.
What's the average? I don't think she's anything special, but she's definitely, or he's definitely average size.
Yeah, typically they're like 14 to 16 hands tall, which is 1.4 to 1.6 meters. A large riding horse may be 15 to 17 hands, and a heavy or draft horse is.
Is this a in-game measurement? Is this a real measurement?
These are actually
And
real measurements.
I
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Yeah.
And
Hands are an archaic
Yep.
imperial,
Right.
like almost imperial measurement.
Yeah, I mean, like you have feet, so maybe you should have hands as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lothar, you're traveling upriver for some reason. Maybe you're, south of the river is Odavian country where the merchants are. What clan is Lothar?
He is, how do you say it? Shah Khan?
Is he really? Is he?
Yeah. The blood daughter and all that.
But he's a Wrathguard. How long, or in training? How long has he left the clan?
I imagine it's been
Quite
not too
some-
long.
Okay.
Maybe a season.
Okay. That's good. So you're traveling up the shore of the Malgomor, and you see a body laying face down in the shoreline on the pebbles and the grit. You can tell it's a female barbarian. Her arms are, her upper arms are in the Malgomor itself, and you see them kind of drift a little bit with the pressure of the Malgomor. Even at the edge, there's a little bit of pressure from the current, and her face is away from you. She's dressed as a barbarian, and there's a fairly large blue-black crow that's kind of sitting on her back, picking at her hair. You can see a track where she seems to have crawled out from Davokar itself. And all around you, it's pretty quiet, except for, occasional argument of birds within the trees. The forest and spring smells of spring and pine pollen. There's little four-leaved kind of yellow flowers that dot the upper slope of the riverbank. And you kind of see this body at a distance, maybe 30 feet, 10 meters, give or take. What does Lothar do?
He probably trops up to the body, hops off the horse, takes the foot of his spear and flips her over, check to see if she's alive. Probably before or after swatting away the raven.
Yeah, the raven makes this kind of squawk, loudly, and beats 2-3 beats of its wings, kind of jumps into the air and just turns its head towards you. And then you just see it kind of coast along the edge, one wing dipping down into the Malgomor, and it rises up and you see it land in the tree line on your side of the river. You turn over this female barbarian, and her eyes kind of flutter, and you hear her say, "I'm not dead yet. Don't try anything foolish with me." Her eyes are barely open. She's got like grit and dirt stuck to one thing. There's blood on her, on her front, and she's dressed. I think Lothar would know that she's a witch, and she's dressed as a northern clan, Anoan, which is near where Lothar's people are from, far in the north. Above.
All right. No problems there, lady. No problems. Perhaps you'd like to sit up, maybe get to your feet, or would you like to stay there and become crowed fee?
She Her eyes flutter open at you, and they flick to your spear. I assume you're still holding your spear or lance.
Yeah.
And how is Lothar dressed?
So he has the suited armor, the shield, the lance / spear, and the shield. I don't think he has I don't have a color mind, to him yet. It's probably
Sure.
just
Is
muted
he
colors.
So he's not quite a Wrathguard yet. Does he wear Saar colors? And every clan has kind of a totem colors. The way they're dressed is a little bit different. Colors they prefer, cut of their clothes. Like, would she be able to tell that you're Saar?
Oh, most definitely. Because he's got all that same gear.
Okay. Then we'll go to initiative.
All right. That's what you get for saving a woman in the water.
Let me find a token. I'll pull her out.
Maybe your character's not so fond of witches anyway.
I'll just use this one.
I'm starting to think most people aren't. Witches be dead.
Yeah, put one too many. Yeah, that one doesn't have a token. I'm going to put you together here and put you both in combat. And we'll roll initiative. Lothar, she rolls over and she takes one look at you and props herself up on her elbows, and you see her head cock a little bit.
Confused.
What do you do?
Well, if she's drawing on me, then I'll defend myself. But otherwise, I'll be neutral about it.
Yeah.
Just
She doesn't really draw on you. Like, you see her scrabble up a little bit. Like, she rolls over because she's down on the slope a little bit, and you don't really see her do anything. Why don't you roll a cunning versus her discreet? I think that would be best. All right. You don't really see it, Lothar. You just feel it. You see it in her eyes right as she gets to her knees and she stands up, and then she spits out the name of your clan. Saar, I will kill you. And then she disappears. What does Lothar do?
taking a defensive stance. He probably scans the the immediate area, looking around. Dark magic, witch magic.
Right. You can't see her at all. I actually got to fix her thing here. As you maybe take a step back or so and scanning the area, up along the beachhead, you hear noise. Kai, Hagen, and Gutorm, you kind of come around this bend and you see this horse, fairly tall, average size, kind of trailing its reins. It's got its head, that's what you see first, its head in the water, maybe drinking from the edge of the stream. It's fairly well trained. And then you see this kind of barbarian dressed in armor and has this kind of lance spear out. and you might be able to tell that it's kind of scanning the area in front of him or stepping back a little bit, scanning area quickly in front of him. You're probably 100 feet, 30 meters away up the beach or up the river edge. What does the company do?
But we see only him and the horse.
Yeah, you only see him and the horse.
Okay.
You don't really see anything else.
Right. I think we would approach a little bit cautious, I think.
Yeah, Kai assumes that this person probably has that spear out not for them, so we'll be like looking around. Like, I'm not about to walk into whatever's ambushed this human.
Sure. So you guys just kind of watch and see what happens.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
we're still approaching to get, I don't know,
Oh,
20 meters maybe, right?
Yeah, 60 feet. You kind of approach cautiously as this.
Yeah.
Okay. Lothar, you can't see the witch, but you hear her. Suddenly, you might be able to see a little bit of the pebbles move or thing, and then you hear her voice. You will die, Sa'ar, and she attacks you.
Show yourself, hag.
And can we make a roll to see her? Because I thought it was like you
Wow.
get like a saving throw to be able to see her
No,
if she's invisible.
yeah. What happens as soon as she attacks, you can see her.
Okay.
You know, she kind of pops into existence on the other side of Lothar and stabs at him with this kind of knife. She's kind of staggered. You know, you can tell from a distance that she's barely on her feet. Her one knee kind of buckles underneath her. Lothar, you see as she stands, she has this long rent, like a sword cut through the side of her. She had blood down one of her face. She's barely holding her dagger in her hands, and she stabs at you, cursing you for being a Sa'ar, and it kind of just glances off your armor, and she almost falls into you as she does this. What does Lothar do?
Well, I didn't ask for the fight, but I will finish it and attack her.
Okay. So what happens is she leans into you, almost staggering in, Lothar.
I imagine she like leans in as I just kind of jab it right into her as she, just kind of leans right into the spear or the lance.
Right through her center.
Yeah, right through the center. And then I just kind of like gently let her down to the ground and say, "It didn't have to be this way, hag. You could have lived."
Yeah, she just grabs your spear, Lothar, falls down to her knees, and she's holding onto it, almost trying to like reach towards you. And you just see her look at her. It's been a little while since you've been away, but you haven't been gone that long. So you would probably know the blood daughter has been born. And she looks at you, and as her eyes are kind of fluttering, she goes, "Your people will not get away with this. They will not start this war." And then she just kind of slides off your spear and lands crumpled up on the ground. Kai, Hagen, and Gutorm, you're kind of moving towards this, and suddenly this figure materializes, and you see this very short battle between this mailed or armored horseman and what obviously appears to be a witch who is kind of staggering on her feet and attacking him with this kind of small knife, and the barbarian horseman spears her, and she kind of slides off. You can see some words are probably exchanged between the two of them as the witch is dying. What does the company do?
You told him he just pulls an arrow, and being a little depressed as he is at the moment, he just poke it in the ground, keeping an eye on the situation and what's happening.
Okay. So he kind of stops by the river edge and gets his bow ready, has an arrow maybe in one hand and another one poked
Yeah,
into
I don't have it in the bow. I just have it in my hand and just fiddling around with it.
Okay. I see him putting like a second one in the sand or, in the pebbles. He can draw quickly. Hagen, what do you do as an Ambrian? You see this barbarian horseman, this obvious barbarian, which kind of materialized out of, there's some degree of a fight, and she's kind of staggered, and then it looks like the barbarian horseman puts her down with his spear. What does Hagen do?
I don't think Hagen would take sides, so I guess stand by and observe at this point. Not
stand by Gutorm.
Yeah, he doesn't have any hatred for a witch, and he doesn't really have any hatred for barbarians. He's not going to take a side at this point.
Okay. Kai, you're not far out from the Hall of a Thousand Tears. And, it's late in the afternoon when you come upon this moment. This horseman is kind of standing over this witch that he's put down with his spear, lance, and he kind of reaches up, and grabs it and kind of slides down. You see her lips mumbling a little bit, but you're way too far away. Gutorm and Hagen kind of stop, not wanting really to get closer, which is prudent. What does Kai do?
Kai was probably at the back, and he's eyeing up this excellent four-legged creature that's just beyond everything. He's recently lost a pet. He's thinking about replacing it.
Sure. Lothar, you're standing there looking down at this barbarian witch. Her eyes flutter. She's whispering something on the end of your spear. She kind of reaches up. You hear her, say a name. Almagaster, is that you, Almagas? Almagas. What does Lothar do as her last breaths are leaving?
He says, yes, join Almagas, as he plunges the spear further and twists it before pulling it out.
Okay. You take the spear out. She's just kind of still. Her eyes are open. You hear the crow caw behind you, and you kind of turn, and the crow is right there, and you just feel the tip of its wings like flap across your face as it glides across the Malgomor, and then it pitches itself as it's midstream and goes southwest. You look out, and in the short distance you see, really it's four figures, counting Kai's armored associates, who are standing probably 30 feet, 10, 15 meters away. One is a goblin that has a bow in his hand, but hasn't knocked an arrow, and an obvious Ambrian. You probably can't really tell, Kai. You know they're not barbarians, though. What does Lothar do? Your horse is behind you, kind of nickering, and raises its head, and its reins are kind of in the water a little bit. It's stamped kind of one foot. Its ears are upright. They're not flat. You don't see its teeth. What does Lothar do?
Lothar backs up towards the horse, mounts it, makes it, do that like upward kick thing. He says, "I am Lothar. Are you friend or foe? Are you working with this hag?"
Not I. I'm looking around to see if anybody else can speak up.
Is that beast for barter?
You can have
Except
the hag's
like that.
body if you want.
I can have it if I want.
Yeah, if you want this hag, you can have it.
Oh, the hag. No, the beast.
Confused, Lothar looks around. Beast?
Yes.
Pats,
You are riding an animal of use?
Yes, this is Butterbee, not a beast. I can understand the kind of looks at you. Confusion.
Fine. Is this Butterbeef for barter?
No, sadly not.
Why sadly not? If it is sad, then you just change your mind? No?
Well, I mean, I'm always looking for a better horse. This one just kind of fell into my hands.
Oh, I would be perfectly happy to help it fall out.
It'd be some good dried meat, though.
That too.
Heresy eating a horse.
Yeah.
I concur with that statement, barbarian.
Butterbeef kind of shakes his head and snorts and stamps his back feet, and ears go flat, almost like he understands you're talking about eating him. Shows his teeth a little bit.
Yeah. Guttorm shows his teeth to the horse and lays his ears back.
I'll probably pat him on the neck. Yeah, it's okay. No eating horse today. Butterbeef.
Oh, there is better things to do with a horse. Either way, if it is not for barter, it's not for barter.
It is not. And why are you out here trying to barter for a horse? Especially with the company you have. And
Oh,
that
I've
strange
lost my
burning
spider.
fellow. Okay.
No, I appreciate this may slightly exceed the cranial capacity, but is this the path to Karvosti?
Karvosti? We are what?
A day and a half.
East of it?
Yeah.
A day and a half east?
Day and a half down the Malgomor.
Can I ask something? Guttorm, does he know the way to Karvosti?
Yeah, you've been up
From here?
you've been up this way. No, I don't know. That's up to you, really. If Guttorm has traveled down the Karvosti, he knows the bridge. He's probably traveled briefly to the camp on the bridge
Yeah,
of the
because
Malgomor.
we have been traveling. I have been traveling along the river before.
Right. So you
we've
would,
been traveling upwards the river. So I feel like if I'd done that, I kind of can have an idea of where Karvosti is.
right. You know
And
that
if
if you
that's
go ahead.
yeah, and if that's the case, when he's asking about where the road to Karvosti is, Gustav just rolls his eyes.
Right. You know, it's about a day and a half travel. Like you're at the end of the near the end of the day. You probably have a couple hours light or a little bit more because it is spring, and you know it's about a day and a half, give or take, down the Malgomor, and the bridge is about here, on the map.
Yeah.
So the company is discussing this or meet the barbarian. I haven't heard that names have been exchanged, and there's this dead witch kind of on his feet, sprawled out. You can see the track of where she crawled out of Davokar itself, leading up the riverbank towards the edge of Davokar. What else do you all do? Or what occurs?
Probably would ask him about coming along with us. If his tendency is to continue with us to the south. We're kind of going southwest, right?
Yeah, you're going southwest, and roughly to here is where the bridge is.
Okay.
Sure, I don't mind. What's an extra person along the way? Or a few.
Okay.
Oh, better to be protected from the dangers in the forest. And I kind of give those two a look, like, especially trees. Lothar's probably like, huh? Ever seen animated trees around?
Can't say that I have.
Well, the only thing I would tell you is beware.
Okay. Lothar, Hagen, Gutorm. Do you do anything with the witch? Or what remains of her?
I want
I
to
would
check out
probably
the
search her
witch.
I would search her body. Sure.
Yeah, she's pretty battered and beaten up, Hagen. You can tell, she has a number, aside from what Lothar has done to her, there are a number of wounds that are fresh, but, crusted over. She's pretty dirty. She has a single dagger in her hand, and that's all you find.
So do I think that she had cuts?
Yeah, you think
Stabs?
she's been in some sort of battle before, or altercation before she met her demise with Lothar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect that Hagen would know what clan she's from.
No.
And he doesn't have lore or lore master, so you have no idea. She just looks like a barbarian, and you probably take it at face value. Lothar has called her a witch. Gutorm probably wouldn't know what clan she is either. Lothar would know that she's Enoian, but he's probably the only one. Kai could make a roll, maybe.
Does
Cunning.
anyone want to go investigate Davokar to see what caused her to meet her near demise before Lothar finished her off?
where she came from.
Well, there's a trail, isn't there? Gene?
Yeah, there's a trail where
Crawled out of
she's
the water.
where she crawled out of Davokar, probably on her hands and knees, and then kind of collapsed along the riverbank with her arms in the river until Lothar rolled her over.
Oh, I had it the other way. I thought she crawled out of the water
No,
onto the bank.
she crawled out of the tree line.
Oh, okay.
And she was kind of laying feet towards the edge of the forest, head near the edge of the water,
Right.
with her arms kind of in the water. So Hagen, you want to
Can
kind of
you
go ahead?
the wounds that she had on her? You said it was like a slash or something, sword cut.
Yeah, I mean, Lothar, I think you being you, when you look at her, they're definitely slashing weapons. Not spear like yours, or not puncture wounds. Great slash down one side. There may be a couple others, across her legs or underneath that you see, and also her clothes. Obviously, they were slashing weapons.
It's a good thing to know that this horse riding barbarian only killed this witch rather than attacked her in the first place.
Yeah, Hagen would, as he's going through her body and just finds that the dagger that she attacked Lothar with, he knows that, most of her wounds, aside from Lothar's, are, not from this moment, but from prior.
Right.
Within probably the last 12 hours or so, you say. They're not old wounds. They're relatively recent. A few of them probably open if you expect her body. They're not closed. They haven't been stitched. There's crusted blood around them, but, you can see, wounds along, defensive wounds along her upper arms. So, Hagen, do you check the trail out?
Yeah, I look at everybody else to see if they have any interest. After saying that, maybe we could investigate.
Gutorm, what do you think of this plan? And what does Gutorm think about witches?
Guto doesn't think much of witches. Like, he doesn't think much of witches in the terms of he doesn't care that much.
So he doesn't have any specific connection with them.
No. He has been living in his barn. Maybe he's seen some witchery, but
Yeah, I mean, the Holdra. The Holdra
Yeah.
has a whole different class of witch altogether. I'm not sure what Gutorm thinks of the Holdra. They're, like the head witches, just like the High Chieftain. You've met one of the Holdra, at your time in Karvosti, when you kind of stopped the attack of the elves, and you met the Archwitch in some form, although she didn't talk to you directly. And so Hagen, is interested in maybe checking out the Witch's Trail. Kai, do you have any import into that decision?
Well, something did this witch in, and that something might be an animal to replace my spider.
Oh, so you think
That, or it will be. Oh, actually, whilst Hagen's searching this body, Kai is aware that humans do this silly thing called currency.
Oh.
and is hoping he might be able to buy like some starlings or something like that from these nomadic hunter folk that live on top of that rock. If it's not very obvious, he does not have high thoughts on human society, but is hoping that might be able to benefit from it.
Hagen finds about 7 thaler, like in a small pouch tucked in the waistband. Just kind of 7 coins all by themselves, or equivalent to 7 thaler in coin. Tied around the rope belt, just inside her clothes. So it sounds like you're going to follow the trail a little bit.
Yes.
If Hagen gives me that 7 thaler, then yes.
And by starlings, you mean birds, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Lothar, you go ahead.
Wait a minute. You want money?
I believe it's something that you humans trade with.
Checking out the trail. Gene, I'm not sure this character, the other character is the rich one, so I'm not sure this character really has anything, any coinage.
Yeah, I mean, aside from, what Hagen thinks, what Hagen thinks about is he's inspecting the body and finds a small pouch. It's what Kai, Lothar, and Gutorm, like, I don't, unless you plan to hide it. I mean,
No, I'm not going to hide it.
Right. So you find this little pouch, which is purely obvious to Lothar, Kai, and Gutorm. It's a small little pouch. I envision Hagen kind of opening it up and looking inside, perhaps knowing that there's 7 thaler-ish coins in there.
Yeah.
Lothar, go ahead.
Well, how much would the starlings cost? They're not going to cost 7 thaler.
Well, a chicken is 8 ortegs, which is
Almost 1.
almost a shilling, which is a tenth of a thaler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a chicken is like 8 cents from $1.
Yeah. Well,
Kai has no idea how much it would cost.
No, Kai has no idea what denomination these coins even are. He has no money.
I don't think any of us really has any substantial amount of money, so I probably would just split it with everybody.
Okay. Lothar, this new group that you've met, look towards the forest and the trail, and Gutorm, Hagen, and Kay decide they would like to check it out, see what had happened to the switch before you met her, and she tried to kill you for being in the clan that you are. Does Lothar say anything or just kind of follow along?
I think he would follow along just to, evaluate these people, especially since they just want to know where this hag came from for some reason.
Okay. Who's going?
Maybe they know something that he doesn't.
Yeah.
She attacked you, so clearly there is something wrong going on.
You're the only one who knows what clan she is. These others have no idea what clan you are. I don't even think Gutorm would know that knowledge, even though he's lived on Karvosti. And so, as a Wrathguard in training or a Saw Karn, she tried to kill you for your clan. Does Lothar know why that is?
No,
Okay.
actually, Lothar doesn't. I think he's of the new mind, or part of that propaganda. We are the descendants of the Samar. So
Okay. So he doesn't know. He knows that it's unusual, I think. Lothar didn't expect that reaction from an NON directly. It's not that he knows that his clan is at war with them. He has no idea why she outright attacked him in her present debilitated and almost dead state as it was under, just for the pretense of clan. That would strike him as unexpected, but it was obvious to him that she tried to kill him just for being a Sa'ar. But he has no idea why that is. So the group, enters Davokar. Who's in front?
I'll take the front since I was the one to suggest this.
All right. Hagen goes in front. I see Lothar in the back with the horse. The horse is kind of, unless he dismounts and leads him through, he could still probably ride for a bit. The horse is going to have to pick his way around trees. Lothar's has a higher height, so he can kind of see, but it's still kind of forest, just early light Davokar. Hagen goes in first. Gutorm, are you next?
I'm gonna keep off the track.
Okay.
It's
So
probably, if Lothar's at the back, it'll be Ignatius then Kai.
Okay. And
yeah, I mean, I'm keeping an eye on Lothar, and I'm keeping off the track just to have a chance if something is happening, as I've done before.
okay.
Sneaking bushes.
So you're kind of in the brush, or at least not on the same line as these three.
Yeah.
These three.
Yeah.
And the horse,
Correct.
who is a horse, so it's making a fair lot more noise than as it's picking its way through the undergrowth, which isn't a lot of brambles or anything, but there's deadfall and that sort of thing. So Hagen, make a vigilant test.
Now, how far into our trail following would you say this is?
You probably follow that trail for 20 minutes. It's obvious, like there's broken small branches are broken off on younger trees. You can see that whoever this witch was that staggered through and fell in parts. There's blood along edges of tree lines, and so it's a trail that you kind of follow for a bit. You come to a stream and you kind of lose it, really, and you look across the stream and you realize that the trail dies at this small kind of stream. It doesn't seem to cross the stream that you know of, and it kind of dead ends at this stream, which is maybe 5 or 6 paces wide. It is spring, so it's probably about, at its deepest, it's probably knee deep, give or take. But the trail ends there, like at this stream. You kind of look up, you look downstream, and you kind of look upstream, and you are looking up and downstream, and you feel a rumble in your feet a little bit. A few birds kind of lift off from the branches, but the forest kind of goes quiet. You feel a little rumble, maybe in your gut more so, and you hear what sounds like the chopping of wood and laughter. Briefly.
And then do we hear that upstream or downstream?
It's like upstream. Probably, if you were facing the stream, it's probably at your 11 o'clock. It's from your present position is probably northwest, but it's obviously across the stream. It kind of echoes through the trees a little bit, and you hear this chopping, and then you feel this rumble that kind of goes through your bowels a little bit, and that kind of dies.
I'm going to head upstream
Okay. On your side of the stream?
Where did I see the birds flutter away from? Could I tell which side of the stream, or I just could tell it was upstream?
Yeah, you just felt that low noise. Everyone feels that low noise. And when that low noise kind of follows this chopping sound, the birds kind of lift off like they're disturbed by that noise.
I'll wade through to the other side.
Okay. Hagen kind of wades through. It's not that much of a wade because it really only goes up to your knees at the deepest, and you get to the other side of the stream. Kai and Lothar, I assume you follow. You felt this, and you begin to kind of hear that sound, that kind of chopping sound, and then that kind of low rumble, which you don't necessarily hear it. You more feel it in your toes and your ankles as Hagen crosses the stream. I assume you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Gutorm, you're off probably to the left as Hagen and Kai and Ignatius, Kai's servant, and Lothar comes last on the horse, crosses this small stream, and Hagen starts moving upstream a little bit. You have heard and kind of felt everything they felt. What does Gutorm do?
Following you.
Okay. So you go up
at a distance.
at a distance. You go upstream for a while, Hagen. You cross the stream, Gutorm?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit higher than you on you. Probably comes up just past your waist a little bit as you wade across, put your bow above your head, and get across the stream.
I'm mumbling some swearing words to myself with the powerful current
and
crossing the stream.
Even this time of year, early spring, it's freaking cold. Snow melts. It leaves you a bit numb and tingly as you cross the stream. Hagen, you move upstream. Kai and Ignatius behind you, and Lothar and Butterbee. Every now and then, the horse kind of leans over and takes a drip, and then when the sound gets a little bit louder, you hear this kind of guttural kind of laughter, and then you hear this kind of chopping sound and this rumble. You're a little bit closer to it. You feel it. Lothar, the horse's ears go flat, and it makes this kind of nervous nicker, and you just feel it. Its flanks twitch a bit underneath you. Hagen, what do you do as you're in the lead?
Go to email. I can tell that the horse is kind of reacting.
I imagine if Hagen turns around and he's periodically looking back to see how close Kai and Ignatius and the horsemen are, I think most people would understand a nervous horse, nervous animal. Like, it's not all that complicated. The horse has its ears a little bit flat. Its head is upright. I don't think its tail is very quiet, and I think Hagen would be able to tell that it has some degree of animal nervousness.
Right, it's alerted.
Right.
Maybe. Proceed with caution then.
Okay.
Because I don't think any of us are willing to, advance ahead of the group. We'll stay together. So
you kind of proceed upriver. The sound of that is going to get louder and louder, kind of off to your right. The ground kind of ascends a little bit. As you're walking along the stream, you're going to hear that kind of sounds of humans get louder, and that kind of chopping sound and that reverberation that kind of mumbles through the land. As you get closer, you might even be able to see it in the lower limbs of the trees every now and then. Lothar's horse is going to start to balk. Lothar, like it's gonna like you're gonna have to prod it kind of forward. What does Lothar do as its horse starts to decline to?
I'll try to calm it down.
Okay.
Like, whoa.
I think you make a persuasion test against its vigilance. Gutorm, are you in line with them, or did you are you still off?
I'm still off, but I'm keeping an eye on them. So I have visual.
So are you up the ridge a little bit above them, or are you just...
Yeah, I imagine I have some elevation of some sorts.
Okay.
Either on a ridge or just climbed just a little bit up to the first branch of a tree or something like that.
Yeah, the land kind of rises, like the stream has kind of cut this little hollow.
Yeah.
So, you cross the stream and they're walking up the stream. You could be kind of up on that little berm or the ridge of the higher ground, as they, you kind of pattern them. Gutorm, make a vigilant test. Lothar, like, Butterby is a new horse for you. Did you trade for him? How did you get Butterby?
So Butterby came to me. If anybody cares to look at Butterby very closely, you'll notice some blood stains on Butterby's what do you call it, coat or whatever, or armor.
Yeah.
So Butterby didn't belong to me originally.
Lothar won Butterby in combat.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah. Butterby, you haven't been with Butterby long enough. You haven't established that trusting link as a horseman, spearman, riding fighter. And Butterby just digs his heels into the ground. And as you try to prod it forward, it kind of tips its head back and tries to take a nip with its flat teeth on your leg a little bit. Obviously, it can't get back that far, and you see it kind of nosh down on the bit, almost maybe trying to get it out of its mouth, but it just kind of stands there and holds position as Hagen and Kai kind of keep moving forward. And you look up the bank, and you can maybe just get a catch of Gutorm, up the berm a little bit in the forest, looking down at the river as you move north. What does Lothar do as Butterby refuses?
Stubborn Butterby. I'll hitch him up right here.
Okay. You tie him to a tree?
Yep.
All right. Lothar...
Eat some grass, and hopefully you have a better attitude when I get back.
Yeah, it just kind of Butterby just snorts at you. It probably lips your shoulder, doesn't bite you. You just feel its teeth as it lips your shoulder. And you have to trot off after Kai and Hagen as they move upstream. Gutorm, you can't really see anything, at least forward. Maybe Lothar getting off his horse and Butterby refusing to move forward kind of distracts you a little bit. And you don't really see anything until you're just at the edge of this clearing. The rest of the group, down by the river, and you tailed off a little bit, maybe too far north, distracted, and you come to this edge of this clearing, and you see a huge colossi that's roped to the ground or staked to the ground. It's got all these ropes and stakes running along its form. It's kind of staked to the ground, and you're just at the edge of the clearing. You've kind of lost sight of Kai and Hagen and Lothar, and you see one of these barbarians who are around them. They number about 6 as far as you can tell, but the bulk of the colossi is like in the center of this kind of clearing that's lashed down to these rocks. And you see one of the barbarians like lift its axe and just hack down on this giant colossi. And while it's hacking at it, you feel a rumble that seems to be from the colossi itself go through the kind of stone into your feet at the edge of the clearing as you stand there.
When you say colossi, what is that?
Colossi, I'll show you a picture.
Like a giant.
Colossi is a witch.
Isn't it more like an animated sort of giant or something like that?
Let me show you kind of what a colossi looks like. So the thing the witch is riding is a colossi, and I think most everyone would know about which colossi. You don't really know what they are necessarily, but they're mounts of certain witches. You are not certain where they come from. You know they're attached to a witch. You don't really have anyone that probably knows anything else about them. But I think the idea of colossi would be pretty well known. Lothar himself would know colossi right away. Gutorm, it's kind of up to you. I would envision that maybe a colossi has come up on Karvosti.
Yeah, maybe I've seen one, but yeah, maybe I've seen one, but do I know if they are natural, like hostile, or
No.
I have no idea about that.
You don't know where they come from.
No.
I think general knowledge would be that they're not. You have no idea, really.
We wouldn't know if they're used as mounts as such, or
I think most stories about witches and their colossi mounts you would know. Hagen would probably know enough about barbarians that they have been used in combat. Lothar would obviously know this. They are generally mounts like his horse, but they are also much greater in combat themselves. A war horse itself can do.
But I feel some sort of sadness when I see the barbarian hack at the colossus.
Right, you just feel it rumble through you, like this sound. You realize it's straight from the colossi. It looks like
it feels sad and it feels like pain.
How many barbarians are there here?
Gutorm can see about 6. You've lost sight of him. Gutorm is kind of on the edge of the clearing.
Mhm.
Gutorm, make me a
stealth mode, right?
make me a discreet roll to see if you are seen as you suddenly kind of come out of that edge. Hagen, Kai, and Lothar, you're on the stream edge. Lothar has left his horse, and Kai and Lothar are kind of following. Hagen, and you hear the noise is louder up the bank of the stream. You're kind of covered in the trees and kind of the depression of the stream. You kind of feel this rumble. You have no idea what's up there, obviously. Only Gutorm has seen any of this. What do Hagen, Kai, and Lothar do?
I'm going to continue to proceed with caution, trying to use maybe some vegetation for a little bit of cover to
Sneak up there and take a look?
sneak. Yeah, I think that we're not good at sneaking. I mean, now that we don't have the horse, we might be better.
You're not good either way. The horse is probably better than you.
Right. Well, right. So, but I mean, the horse is big. Probably just the horse itself makes noise, just the way it moves.
Right.
But,
so
he would try his best.
Okay, so Hagen, you're gonna kind of scramble, sneak up the edge, trying to use the trees for cover. Kai and Lothar, do you go with him or let him go take a peek first?
Ignatius and Kai will go with him because we have no reason to suspect that this is a trap or an ambush at the moment.
Okay.
It's just we're following a trail.
Lothar wants to know what the barbarians clan is.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen them yet, but you want to go see what all the noise is. Right.
Can I reroll that discreet, or is that only in combat I can do that?
No. You could spend XP and roll that discreet if you'd like, but
I'm gonna try again. Just once. I don't want to be seen.
You could roll that. Hagen, you have the lowest discreet, and so the whole party is going to be hinge on your thing. I would have you roll discreet with advantage, and because you're using the tree cover or trying to use the tree cover.
Okay. Favor then, or is it?
It's advantage +2. I let you roll favor. I think they are distracted at the moment. They haven't seen Gutorm. Okay. So Hagen, Kai, and Lothar, you kind of scrabble up as best you can up this little bank, and you tuck yourself in behind Hagen kind of expertly. The trees are pretty big, and there's this kind of rocky clearing out there. You're in the shadows of the tree, and the sun's kind of high, and it's probably at your back, and maybe that kind of obscures them from seeing you too, because the sun's in their eyes. You have no idea where Gutorm is. You've lost the goblin, and you kind of come near the edge of this clearing. You see what Gutorm saw, this kind of huge colossi where one leg has been chopped off, and probably one of the arms. It's trying to thrash against these huge ropes that are holding it down. It looks smaller, than a lot of colossi. It probably stands, 3 meters, probably stands around 4 to 5 meters tall. If it was standing, you would guess. But it obviously looks like one lower limb has been cut off and another upper limb is cut off. You see these 5 or 6 barbarians, because maybe there's some on the other side. You can't really see past the bulk of the colossi. And most of them are just watching. There's maybe 4 that are watching, and you kind of hear this guttural laughter as 2 of the other ones are kind of dancing around this colossi that's squirming under these ropes and chopping at it with these huge kind of battle axes, and taking pieces out of it. Every time it hits it, you just feel this rumble through the rock of the clearing into your toes. And that's what you see. Lothar, you look out there, and roll a vigilant test for me. Yeah,
So
Lothar.
I say to Kai, there's your next pet.
That's my plan if they can get rid of those freaks trying to kill it.
Yeah, I have to look up to see if Kai could manage a colossi. Lothar, you're looking
Look,
out
if
there.
it's bolted to the floor for an hour, I can make it mine.
You are looking out there, and you you hear the barbarians talking to each other, and their dialect is yours. You know, they're Saw Archon. One of them lights a giant torch, and you see another one throw this kind of bag on top of it that splashes over the top of this colossi. And you're looking at him, and you hear your dialect, or your just the way they say the words. Even barbarians speak the same language. Every clan has just a little bit of a little bit of it. And Saw ours is a bit edgier, a bit more clipped, a bit more thing. Their laughter is rough, and they sound, like Saw ours. You might even get a glimpse every now and then of where their tattoo or mark should be of Saw ours, even though it's been destroyed for whatever reason. But they're all dressed as carrots. And so you're looking at these Saw-Ars that are seemingly getting ready to burn this colossi. They're all dressed, they all sound as Saw-Ars. You're 100% sure that they're your clan, but they're not dressed as your clan, they're dressed as another clan. What does Lothar think about that?
I think he'd be confused as to why they're dressed in a different clan's, clothing, especially why they're here.
Would he say
But I
anything?
think he'll keep that to himself. I think he'd keep that to himself.
Okay.
Yeah. Kai will not let them start burning the creature. And if it looks like they are, he's going to do the stupid thing and break cover and command Ignatius to kill kill the lessers.
You do that immediately? Like you see them like this
if it looks like they're going to set the thing on fire, yes.
all by yourself.
I have a much better use for this thing.
You just burst from cover then. Kai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I see him break, then I would cast a spell.
Okay. What we're doing is we're taking
Seeing that Guttorm just put his palm on his forehead and just like looks to the ground and shakes his head.
Yeah, you're in cover. Like probably you're maybe like at 6 o'clock and they're like at 9 or 10 o'clock. And, you're in cover, Guttorm, and you suddenly see Kai burst out of the tree line. Ignatius, thundering past him and lighting. Most of the time, Ignatius just looks like a smoldering kind of steamy set of armor. But as soon as he goes into combat, he lights up, fire kind of blossoms along his armor and along his sword. Lothar and Hagen, you see Kai break cover, with obvious intent. Hagen, you're going to cast a spell as he breaks cover, I guess?
Right.
Okay. Lothar, what do you do as this elf breaks cover and you see his guardian kind of not burst into flame, but light up in flame. And, I imagine Kai makes some sort of sound as he breaks cover. What does Lothar do?
I think Lothar kind of like stands up and like amazed at, the fact that he just broke cover without any word. And he like stands up and pulls out his weapons and stuff and kind of walks behind them a short way.
Okay.
Just to see what they do.
So why don't we take 5 minutes so I get the map ready, get a drink, and I will set up the map and we will go to initiative. Well, I'll have you do your things that you're doing and then we'll go to initiative. Okay?
Yep.
So is everyone back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Yep.
throw some blankets out the window. I mean, it's not all daylight outside, but the sun is just behind the mountaintop before it dips back up again.
So as Kai breaks cover, with obvious intent, what was Hagen's plan? You know, as he sees him breaks cover, you know, the barbarians turn and are startled a little bit. What does Hagen do?
He would fire Black Bolt.
Okay.
And I think it would be logical or your call, but you know, I can hit multiple targets, but I would think that I only have those 4 that I could fire Black Bolt.
Yeah, because it's within line of sight.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I thought.
I don't
That
expect
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah, I don't expect you could see the ones behind him like well enough because that thing is huge, and they're slightly down on the slope. So I think the ones in front, what you see in front, or at least the 4 of them, you see 2 warriors in scale mail having, you know, pulling double axes, and that's this one and that one, and then you see 2 others that, you know, are kind of in chainmail and have pull a shield and a sword, and they kind of have those metal helmets on.
So it's resolute against quick.
Right.
And I gotta choose targets.
Yeah, I was just kind of telling you what you see so you can decide who you want to target, and if you want to.
I'll target him first.
Okay.
I have highlighted. I think I should be able to roll it. Like, I don't have to do resolute, right? Shouldn't I be able to roll it?
You should.
Do I have to select resolute? Because it's resolute against quick.
Yeah, it looks like you could just roll Black Bolt. Yeah, like you hit the Black Bolt
Okay.
symbol. It looks like it will roll.
Oof.
All right. So Kai, as you're running out, you see this and feel probably this scattering of power, you know, crackling like lightning come around you. And this darkness kind of hit this warrior here. Where does it go next?
Chaining to that guy next.
Okay.
And I only get 1 corruption. You know, even though it's not supposed to be rolling it.
Right.
Just signature ability for.
Yeah, you could just make sure you amend it.
Yeah, I'll fix it. Okay. So, unfortunately, the first time I try using my chain, it doesn't work.
How come, you think?
I haven't really tested it out. Like, I didn't. So this is kind of the first true test of it. I mean, maybe I did try it out initially.
Yeah, I think you.
So
go ahead.
So remember, he has to make a resolute test before he can move.
Yeah, and I think he can't move this round at all.
Right, he can't. Right.
Yeah, he can only make
He's
resolute
not.
next round. Okay.
Right.
Lothar, you see Kai break cover. We're dip into initiative now and start. Lothar, you see Kai break cover. It's hard to miss Hagen's Black Bolt go winding around Kai and slam into one of your kin, who's holding it kind of, and he goes rigid as this kind of blackness crackles along him like lightning. And the group yell out, draw weapons and swords, double axes and swords and shields, and turn towards the company while you're at the edge of the trees. What does Lothar do is he's looking at his kin dressed as another clan around the colossi of a witch.
I think Lothar kind of cackles a little bit and says, "What have you, brothers, wearing the skins of a wolf?" As he moves up to whoever this is down here at the bottom.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you engage then.
Why can't I move him?
I don't know. Let me see. Can I move him? Did you change your selection on your, oh, there you go.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
I was on targeting. I don't know why.
Right. Okay. I do that all the time. I'm on the wrong thing and I can't move anything. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So you dash across this kind of rocky open area, and yell out to your kin who are dressed as Inuai, the tree folk.
Yep. Now, is that like double movement from there?
It probably is 7 meters. I think you close. You can go like it's. Let me make sure I have the map right.
Are you not on your horse?
No, he had to leave his horse.
Oh,
No.
Grid scale is 3 meters. You can move. You were here, so. No, I mean that's like 18 meters. It's you're at the tree line, so it's just about 15 meters, which is so. I think you can make it there, Lothar, and attack. It's not that far. It's about 30 feet, give or take.
Okay.
I started you within one movement at least. So what happens is Lothar runs across with his spear lance, attacks his brothers.
Yeah, he comes in. He probably gets. I don't know if he has a shield or something, or he just clinks him in the armor as he hits.
Yeah, the one you
Just
attack
messed
just
with him.
has this huge double axe and like this scale mail, which Lothar would be able to see. And it just kind of, you stab at him and it just slides along the breastplate or the scale, of his upper chest. And you hear it kind of grate against the side as he greets you. The barbarians close. They can't see Gutorm, who's kind of hiding here in the south, and they close in. They close in on Kai, Ignatius. That one can't move. My fault. These ones come up around the corner. I think let me see how far they are really. I think they're going to be able to close, but not kind of attack because they're coming around the side of the huge thing. So they can probably make a double move and close in on you, Kai, but they can't, attack because they're running around the side. The only ones who really get to attack are the 3 southern ones. Gutorm is kind of in the bushes. He sees this battle begin. He notices one in the south, probably just around the colossi, in his line of sight that's just kind of shaking. And then he sees this, the laminated armor of Lothar come running across, yelling at these other barbarians as they attack him. sure I got it right.
All the infantrymen moved early, but
Are they in the back? Oh, my fault. I guess they are. I guess they stay.
they are slightly slower than Ignatius.
All right. There. I guess only one gets to attack. Just the one on. Oh.
No, the one that you just took away from me.
Yeah.
He could have moved. He's a guard warrior.
Yeah. Okay. So that warrior takes his big giant axe and tries to slash down on Lothar and completely misses him as they yell out. The other guard warrior just kind of standing there trying to make a step, but is crackling all over from Hagen's black bolt. The Colossus tries to break free of its bonds. Oh, he still does it. Even with this favor, what did he roll? 12 and a 6. So you see this Colossus just kind of roll and just start snapping bonds. Gutorm, you hear the twang of the ropes kind of break. You see him pull up kind of these stakes as it's trying to stumbling to a stand on one leg because the other one's kind of cut in half. Gutorm, you're in the shadows. No one really sees you, not even Kai or Hagen or Lothar. The barbarians don't notice you at all. What do you do as you're kind of huddled there in the shadows of the forest?
Am I on the same level as?
Yeah, you are.
Else?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Can I aim
You can.
and try and break? Use rapid fire and try and cut 2 of the ropes.
You mean help the Colossi stand?
Yeah.
Sure, I'd let you do that. I think
Don't forget, this guy's supposed to be frozen.
no, the other one is right there.
No,
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can see the one.
He's the one that ran around from the other side.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I want to use rapid fire and I still have one advantage to bow use. Can I still use that?
Yeah. What was the advantage from?
What's that?
That's okay. I would let you roll from cover. You're going to break cover. They're going to see you and give you advantage. You want to shoot the ropes, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just roll for vigilant then? Or if I'm shooting the ropes?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be accurate unless you're using...
I'm using vigilant for the bow.
Yeah, you would roll vigilant. And if you roll... if you want to do rapid fire, you would just roll it twice.
Yeah. And do I get advantage on only one shot? Both of them?
I would give you advantage on both. As a marksman, too.
So that's favor, right?
No, you just you put in +2 on modifier at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, you click the button that says advantage, the radio button that's like 4 down. So the first one just, whoosh, it probably just hits it. Like it's so big, you're trying to shoot this arrow and it's thrashing around and you just hear it thunking it. Thunk. into the like wood of it.
Yeah, I throw some swearing words and goblin and aim the second arrow.
Yeah, the second one flies through, kind of cuts right through the one of the ropes, and it kind of, the colossi kind of staggers to a stand. This barbarian, sees the arrows come from the south, from you, Gutorm, and it kind of turns towards you. What does Gutorm do? Does he still have movement, or?
Yeah, I can use my survival instinct. Is that it? It's been a while. I can't remember. Yeah, one extra movement action per scene, so I can only use it once
Okay.
for this scene.
Right.
Yeah, and I run closer to my friend.
Yeah, you can make
My
it.
movement.
You can make it pretty much anywhere with a double movement action. You know.
Oh yeah, but I'm using one of my movements for the rapid fire.
Oh, okay. So you're going to use your
Yes,
extra
I only
movement.
have one.
Close in on
Yeah.
Ignatius. You could probably make it to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna run up here.
Gutorm fires off this arrow. Comes out of the shadows of Davokar. You see these two arrows go out, hitting one of the ropes, and the colossi kind of staggers a little bit as that rope twangs and releases pressure, and it starts to stand up on its one hacked, mid hacked off leg, and it staggers to a stand to start standing. And Gutorm comes running across rocks of the clearing, kind of skitter as he's running across, and kind of maybe slides in next to Ignatius. Hagen, you have one that's kind of just sparkling and stuck by your black bolt at the top. You see others close on Lothar and Kai. What does Hagen do?
Take us probably just a step here and cast levitate.
Okay. Fantastic spell.
Because I cannot cast Black Bolt until he breaks free. We could cast Larva Boil, but I think this might be. Although we're not really outnumbered, so.
Yeah, it just depends how jittery Hagen is feeling after losing Adela, and all bets are off. You never know. You don't know who Lothar is, and
I think I would, with the uncertainty of new party members and just losing half the party.
Okay.
Recently.
Oh.
Except not today.
Yeah, you probably levitate like with a 20. You probably get up a good 9-10 feet before all of a sudden it snaps out and poof, you come crashing to the ground. And this spell just kind of
roll. You want me to roll quick to stay on my feet, maybe?
Yeah, since you rolled a 20, I think that's reasonable. Yeah, you just crash down to the ground, Hagen. You kind of land, on your knees. Kai probably sees you rise above him, and then it's just the shadow of you falling, and then you hit the ground and the rock crash. I believe that's it for Hagen.
That would be it.
Okay. Ignatius is standing next to you, Kai.
Mm-hmm.
What does your flaming servant do?
Well, his master is in danger. So he is going to move to Kashank. Let me just double check something that he has gained recently. No, that's the next one. Does this count as us ganging up on this person for advantage?
No, you're kind of on the same side of him.
Okay.
He still starts to burn though, right?
Yee.
1 round.
That is a property of being hit by a man made of fire.
Right. So he hits him, but he just, clashes against, you see this flaming sword hit him against his scale armor and just, clangs against it, but it lights up parts of it, the interweaving underneath the armor and probably the clothes around it, kind of light on fire. I imagine Ignatius stays there.
Yeah.
Okay. The other barbarians close. One comes to the other side of Ignatius. One kind of rounds a Lothar, and a third will probably run to here and attack. I'll do the first one on Lothar with a sword strike. And he completely misses. He tries to bash you with your shield, but everything misses. He's maybe taken off guard a little bit as you speak barbarian in his same tongue. The other infantryman attacks Ignatius. Oh!
What? Why did you only...
He endured.
He's meant to have a lot more health than that.
What did he have to start? Does he heal? I don't know if he heals because he took damage before.
He's effectively a player character, but
Right.
Do you know how much he started
heals
with?
normally.
1?
Not off the top of my head. No. Ugh. All my toys go away.
At the most, he would have healed 2. I don't know what he was at to begin with. You see the barbarian from behind your flaming servant guy just take his sword and just slash down across the back of your flaming servant, across the back of his neck, and you see the front of its shield just kind of separates and just fall to the ground. There's nothing inside the flaming servant. So as the armor separates, all this steam and ash and flame just kind of escape up into the air, and the armor just kind of clatters to the ground at your feet, Kai, as the flaming servant is dissipated.
That's 10 XP that's never coming back.
The other infantryman just doesn't have enough movement to make it to Hagen. Kai, what do you do now?
I am annoyed.
Kai,
So, yeah, I'm very annoyed. So I'm just gonna look at the one next to me and just tell him to fucking burn to death. That is not 4 temporary corruption. It is 1 because it's strong.
all right, so you curse him. And does Kai do anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk away.
Okay, you're gonna disengage.
Yeah, he has to make a successful resolute to do anything.
Okay.
For the curse.
Yeah, the curse is
Oh,
second chance to
second
fail.
chance to fail.
Right.
Yes. Sorry.
until a resolute test fails.
Yeah,
And
my
it-
resolute.
Yeah, it has a second chance to fail everything, not just attacks, like whatever it rolls.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Second chance to fail every single roll
right.
until I fail my resolute.
Right. So as you curse it, and I'm not certain how that sounds. Kai is mad. He attacks you, and so I'm gonna roll disfavor. I'm gonna just put disfavor because it makes him roll 2 dice, because he gets a second chance to fail.
Yep. Ow. 9 damage.
Did he? So he rolled a 19 and a 10. Oh, your defense is 19 or a 10.
Yeah.
So you are prone there.
But it took the 10, which is... That is my defense.
That is your defense at 10.
Yeah.
So it just barely makes it. And as you try to leave, he just slashes out at you, Kai, and drops you to your knees. And you can't escape the round. Lothar, you hear battle around you. Go ahead.
I need to make a concentration.
Lothar, you get surrounded by the Saar, your own clan. They notice that you are of the same lineage, and you hear them say, "Walk away, brother. Walk away and you will live today. Fight a blood daughter, walk away." What does Lothar do?
Lothar can't respond as the blood in his eyes, give him, just that much more glee in fighting.
All right. So he attacks the guard warrior, and does he do anything else?
No.
Okay. The guard warrior is on fire. I would have you roll 1d4 for the fire damage. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's burning pretty bright, Kai. I'm almost positive he's going to take a full round action to put that out. No. He just continues to burn Kai. And he is either going to step around you and attack Hagen, or he's going to attack you as you're prone. 1 to 2 is Kai, and 3 to 4 is Hagen. Yeah, he kind of sees you on the ground, kind of sprawled out, with your back to him, and he just takes a step towards Hagen, as Hagen is next to him, and he attacks Hagen.
Second chance to fail.
Yep. Hagen has a low number 2. 1d6. He just clips Hagen with his axe as Hagen is there, and then the one.
This guy cursed, did you say?
Yeah, he's cursed. He's cursed and on fire. The one next to Lothar says, "You should have ran, brother. You should have left. We'd have let you go." And he attacks Lothar. Just hitting him with his axe, Lothar feels it dig into the front plate of his armor and kind of rock him back on his foot. Now, Hagen, the last one is still under Black Bolt, correct?
Right. He's got to try to break free, I guess, this round, right?
Strong versus resolute against you, right?
It's just says to break free, they have to pass a resolute test. So I don't use any of my stats.
Right. I think you have to roll your resolute -5 since you took damage, and see if it holds anyways. That's what the spell says.
Concentration.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It says it lasts, and he tries to break free requiring a resolute test, or it happens automatically when you take damage, which is resolute minus damage. So you make a resolute -5 and see
-5.
Yeah, see if they, because you took 5 damage.
Or -4, I think. I took 4.
Okay.
-4.
Yeah. Yeah, he just kind of breaks free. Okay. So he
doesn't act until later, right?
No, this is his action at the moment. Like, and
this guy we're talking about, right?
No, that's the one that's black bolted. Yeah, the other one, this guy doesn't. The ones with helmets don't act this turn. Just the ones without helmets.
Okay.
So he is no longer under the influence of Black Bolt.
Right.
What will he do? He's either going to attack the colossi or close. As the colossi breaks its bonds. Oh yeah. Like the colossi breaks its bonds, is starting to stand, and this guard warrior just kind of turns to it and yells out in barbarian. Only Lothar really understands what he says. He's really saying the witch's steed will die, and he brings up his giant axe and crashes down on the colossi. Oh, he completely misses. Let's make him make a quick test. See if he stays on his feet. Yep, just barely. You see him trip a little bit as he tries to slash out at the colossi, and he completely misses it as it stands up. He probably just misjudges because the colossi suddenly stands up on its one half leg, and its other leg is getting underneath it. And the colossi just attacks the guard warrior. You just see it raise up one of its legs. Hagen, Kai, and Lothar may not see it, and he just raises up its kind of leg that's been cut off a little bit and just stamps right back down on the guard warrior and just smashes him down into the stone. You just see him gritted down and pressed underneath the weight of the colossi as it kind of stumbles over him and moves forward a little bit until it kind of turns its head southwards in kind of this disjointed fashion. Gutorm, you're standing next to Kai. You see him get put down. You see the colossi rise because of your help and then just stamp down on one of the barbarian warriors. You're just off a little bit. You see Lothar near you, covered by two barbarians and this other barbarian that's closing space between you and Kai. What does Gutorm do?
Before I act, I just have a quick look at this barbarian here and see.
Yeah, he's
Can
got,
I somewhat anticipate his reaction at the moment?
like where he might go towards you or Kai, who's laying on the ground.
Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? Like,
Right.
I can see, is he looking backwards? Is he trying to run towards me?
Oh, he's running in your direction. He's moving in your direction. He's got his back towards the colossi, who just smashed down on one of the other barbarians. And so he's got a sword out in his shield, and he's moving towards you and Kai. You know, he's moving in this direction.
And that guy was wounded, correct, from the bolt?
The one that he stamped on, yes, that was the wounded one from the bolt. The one in front of you is wounded. He's still on fire. You can smell his burning flesh. But he's got this gleam in his eye, you know, crazy kind of gleam in his eye. What do you do, Gutorm, as that barbarian is moving towards you?
I'm gonna fire an arrow and I'm gonna run.
Okay. There is a reason why Gutorm is one of the only ones left. He's gonna position himself to survive.
It's almost like he's the only one with common sense.
Right. The goblin is the smartest of the crew.
Well,
I don't know if I would say smartest, wisest.
Wisest.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't feel any connection, like really proper connection anymore. So just run, see what's left afterwards.
Okay.
I at least gonna fire that arrow towards the one who's coming towards me.
Okay.
So I had to. Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah, you rolled a 2.
And that's exactly what Gutom is thinking.
It just like blinks off him. Blink. You know, the arrow, you know, deflects.
Yeah, and then I just run as quickly as I can in the woods up behind Hagen there.
Okay. You tuck into the woods behind Hagen. Hagen, you're there. You see Gutorm lay off a round, and then he's by you. This little goblin is by you through the brush behind you. You hear him behind you. You look and you see this, you know, guard warrior with a double axe who's still on fire in front of you. You see a man behind him. What does Hagen do? Kai is on
Now,
the
if I'm on
ground.
I was on my knees, right, or
Yeah, you
on the
could-
ground, or
You could roll a quick test, or you could do something from the ground.
well, that's what I was gonna say. I could fire my black bolt from the ground, but does he have advantage to attack me
If
because
you
I'm on the ground?
if you stay on the ground, yeah. But you could fire your black bolt and then roll a quick test to see if you can stand.
I think I would do that. I'll fire the bolt at him first.
Okay. Okay. So you see the black bolt just probably just runs up along the ground and then up his feet, up his torso, and he just clenches. You see his axe shake a little bit in his hand, and you know he's kind of stuck there for the moment. What else does Hagen do?
Next target.
Oh yeah, you get to do it again. And so you chain it.
Next target.
It jumps across. Yeah. Kai is probably on the ground, seeing this black bolt go, chwing, chwing, rises up from the ground. And
Oh. Just get all of them.
Right. Kai is probably.
I can see them. I can see them all. Before I couldn't.
Right. You probably could see all of them,
Yeah.
It just leaps, Kai. You think you might be dead laying there on the ground, Kai, as you roll over onto your backside, and all of a sudden you see this bolt, just go up the one guard warrior that's on fire, hop to the other one's the top of his helmet, hop to the other one to the top of his helmet, and and Lothar is standing there, and you see Lothar, this crackle of energy envelop the one with the axe, and his jaw kind of stiffens, and he just goes stock still, kind of shaking a little bit, and you hear his breath kind of seize up in him as you're standing there.
Do you feel that, Ken? That's the sound of the tide turning.
Right. Now, Hagen, you can't stand up, but to be honest, you're in a pretty darn good position at the moment. As your black bolt.
Well, this guy looks like I probably think this guy's in bad shape, right? The guy that's right in front of him.
Well, he's also, he's in front of you. He's burning, so he can't put himself out. He's going to take obligatory damage his next round because he's, burning regardless. So you suck up 4 of them, which is pretty darn good because Kai was in trouble on the ground, prone, and their action was next. So all of them but one, all of them except for the one around Lothar gets to attack. He's going to roll his attack first. He rolls that normally because he just kind of hacks down at Lothar. And is he bright enough to know what's going on? Let's see. He is. He is going to break Lothar. He sees the one next to you, sees up. He strikes down at you, and he looks over you, and he sees his other 3 brothers are just shaking, standing still in this crackle of black energy around it. And he looks up at the colossi and he realizes, all is done. He kind of looks at you, Lothar, and then he just attempts to bolt.
I'll take the swing at him then.
Right. Woo! You stab him as he goes, probably turns, and you stab him through the side, and he just runs.
He's stunned?
No. He did 8.
Take enough damage?
Oh, his threshold's right at 8. So no, he didn't get stunned. You stab him and he just kind of runs into the forest down this kind of path this way. As you're standing there, Kai, you're prone on the ground. You look around you and you look up and you see the burning one and you see the other one. You realize you're just stuck there, and you probably are on your bottom, and you realize you got a reprieve. What does Kai do?
I'm gonna see stand up with just an action. Oh, actually, no. I'm not going to try and stand up. Guy still hurt is going to sort of crawl and shuffle away.
Okay.
Fuck you! You killed my my pet. Now it's only another one.
All right. So you crawl away and curse another one as you crawl towards the edge, bleeding down your back where the one struck you as you were trying to move. Is that it for Kai?
Yeah, that is it.
Okay. Lothar, you have one of your kin standing before you, just shuddering. He obviously can't move. The other one breaks and runs for it, and you stab him in the back as he's running, but he just bolts as fast as he can go. What does Lothar do?
Lothar keeps on attacking.
Right.
Well, what's that?
I think how much damage did you do? Oh, that's terrible.
Not a lot. Yeah, it was terrible.
2 and 1. Yeah, you just batter him, and he just you hit his armor. Probably, you're off your footing a little bit because you struck out, and then you kind of turn around and try to hit the other one, and you just glance off his armor, even though he's not moving, and he gets this kind of grimace on his face because he's stuck there by Hagen's spell. None of them get to release this round, right, Hagen? Because this is the first round.
Right, the first round is automatic.
Yeah, so the first round of the guard warriors, the infantrymen, they were held last round, so they may try to break. But the guard warriors who would go next, they're kind of stuck there because this is the first round that they would have had to act. The colossi is not stuck, and Lothar, you see it just raise its one leg and come crashing down on top of the brother that you just try to strike, and it just squishes it. You just see it, you just see him like just compressed underneath this mass of leg that the colossi brings down atop him, and then it just kind of lumbers forward, scraping its other leg with it as it goes, and it just leaves this smear and just little kind of broken bones everywhere, just like it's crushed this barbarian in front of you down, and it moves. Gutorm, you're run past Hagen and you kind of turn around maybe, or did you keep going in the forest?
I'm looking over my shoulder to see what's going on.
You run in, you're looking over your shoulder, you probably see Hagen's magic, lightning out, and then jump, from one figure to the next, and you see them lock up a little bit. You may not be able to see south. You feel and hear the colossi stomp down on another barbarian because it probably shakes the ground a little bit. What does Gutorm do?
Yeah, I run. I look over my shoulder. I see this. Can I see the Colossus stomp on the enemy?
I think you see its leg move up. Like you can't really see the barbarian, but you see it lift up its one leg and teeter on its, partly broken leg that's just, and you see it slam down, and then you feel that force through the rock on the ground, and you kind of see it move forward. I think Gutorm would have a sense that it just stomped on another one.
Yeah, and that brings out the curiosity in me. So I'm running there and slows down a little, and I can't see this guy, can I?
I think the only one you can really see is the
No.
one that's standing right next to
that's
Hagen.
what I thought, yeah.
I don't think you could shoot. They're both kind of stock still, so I don't think you could shoot at this one. And I think Hagen kind of blocks you from the other one.
Yeah, so sensing that tides might have turned, I run a little bit back here to Hagen. And I look at the Colossus. And, I bump into Hagen and did you see that?
You mean my magic?
The Colossus. It's pretty cool.
I would say pretty deadly.
Yeah, but we helped him. He's gonna leave us alone, right?
We
Well,
have no idea.
Right, I think Kai is hoping that he's gonna become our pet.
He
or
reminds me a
mount,
little
or-
of Kando.
Oh,
Oh well, and I pull out an arrow and I aim at the one right there.
Yeah, I would give yourself favor since he's not moving. He's just, stuck there.
Oh, he's the one stomped on.
The one they stomped on is off. No, I already took
he's
him
off.
off the map. Yeah, right. There's nothing left of him. These are all black bolted, so they're stuck. And yeah, you fire an arrow, it just kind of sticks in him, and you see him shudder a little bit, but he's got this crackling kind of black, purplish energy all around him. It kind of flows all over him, and he's just kind of stuck there with his sword out and the shield.
Could have just put his hand with the bow in one hand up in the air, and it's just, ooh, I hit.
Hagen, you feel Gutorm there next to you, and he fires off an arrow. He kind of looking up at the colossi. What does Hagen do?
Now, this guy is still on fire, but he's not dead.
No. I would actually have. I forgot to have him do it. I would have Kai roll 1d4 to see how much damage he takes. Yeah, he's still alive, but he's burning. He's still burning. He's just kind of stuck there, and the fires are licking up. You kind of see the bubbling of his skin up his neck and on down his arm and his legs, and he's just stuck there by your black bolt and burns.
Try this again.
Okay.
how are you doing for corruption? I know you've got quite a good threshold.
Yeah, he's fine. Oh.
I'm fine because the black bolt, for all the black bolt that I shot, I should only have one. And I did it twice, so that's 2. I failed at. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to. Check the corruption from levitate, right?
Yeah, you can do
Yes.
you can do your resolute thing to...
So let me kind of backtrack. Gene, you can go on, but I'll just back.
Okay.
Make a move action to go above the battlefield.
You have to roll a resolute test for each infantryman, I believe, for them not to be held, to continue to be held by your black bolt. So you can, roll all that. They don't get to act unless they break.
Oh, I thought they were supposed to break. I thought they're the ones to make the save or whatever to resist, isn't that? the way it's supposed to be.
Well,
Oh, resolute
Um,
versus quick.
Mhm.
so with pass resolute be quick, blah 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 blah.
Oh, they make a resolute test. Okay.
Yeah, they have to make a resolute.
Right.
Remember, 2 of them are cursed.
Right. Well, the
But if one makes it, then they all make it though.
The infantrymen are the only one who are the ones with the helmets are the only ones who get to roll this round. The other warrior doesn't roll until after your turn, Kai. This was the first round that it couldn't roll.
Mhm.
So this one who's cursed, he's just stuck there. And he can't move. You see him try to move, but he can't really move. And the other one succeeds. Hagen flies. How far up do you go, Hagen?
I would go up a movement action. I don't think it specifically says.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. So you're like 20, 30 feet?
Yeah, equal to 1 stride per turn.
The other one, breaks free, kind of staggers back a little bit. Hagen, you're up above him flying. Kai, you're on the ground having crawled and maybe look back, and you just see him break for the trees. The colossi just tries to stomp on him as he breaks and runs.
So that check, I reduced it to 1.
Okay.
That one also to 1. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I cast 4 spells this scene. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah, and so you do have to fix your corruption because it's wrong.
I just fixed it.
Okay. I looked at it before you fixed it, and I was like, whew, that's a lot.
Right now it's 6.
You're at... Oh, yeah, you're at 6. Okay. Yeah, this one tries to run, and the Colossus just tags it with his foot. Just clips it, though, and he goes clambering into the bushes, lands on his front side, and just kind of falls down. You see him weakly try to stand, like his legs are broken, and trying to crawl, but he could just barely go. He looks over his shoulder. He's got blood pouring out of his ear and his mouth, and he just looks terrible. Kai, you're on the ground, kind of scrabbled over to the side. You see this giant colossus, take out one and almost take out another. What does Kai do?
The other one gets to act first.
The other one is still stuck.
Remember, he said it breaks if one wins, it breaks it all.
Oh, does it?
Oh, they all free.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
One makes it. They all.
I guess because it's
automatic.
part of the chain or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought just one broke at a time. I'm almost positive this one's gonna break too. Like, I find it highly unlikely, but I'll ask.
I wouldn't want to stand there next to that big hulking whatever it is.
No,
Mike.
after he saw 2 people get crushed. No.
I mean, it made 3 attacks and hit both or all 3 times.
He doesn't. I said that he nearly certain. Like I chose nearly certain, so it would be nearly certain, which is a very small chance at success, and he doesn't break. Lothar, you
like raging.
you just see him turn towards the colossi, and you just hear him scream, "For the blood daughter!" And he tries to hit the colossi with his sword.
That one has disfavor.
Right. Maybe that's why he failed, Kai. And he stood there, somehow he gets through. His sword just weakly clanks off the colossi, who big giant head with horns just kind of rolls and looks down at him. Lothar, you hear him scream out, "For the blood daughter." You know who the blood daughter is, as the Saw are. What does Lothar do?
I think I'd taunt him back with the if you just leave now, you might be able to join your friend in life.
You just kind of lean on your spear and watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. The guard warrior has to make a... First, I'd have Kai roll his burning damage.
Got to be in bad shape.
He is. He is in really bad shape. But he's not quite dead.
Yeah. Do I get a turn as well?
Oh, did I miss you?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah. Sorry. What do you do, Kai?
Okay. First things first, I have to maintain all my cursing. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You're still cursed. And then I would like to, given that I've got two magical sets of training, War Master and a forest denizen, do I reckon this Colossus is going to start attacking us? Or can I try and speak talk it into becoming our pet?
It has made no aggressive action even when it stood next to Lothar. Kai would probably know that colossi are not, mundane beasts. Lothar's horse is smart, but the colossi is something quite different. Witches don't necessarily control them, as opposed to them being a unit of a different status. Almost like if Lothar had a warhorse who was warhorse trained, like him and the warhorse are completely different matter than going into battle with a horse that's not warhorse trained. And so I think Kai would know that the colossi is intelligent enough to know friend from foe.
Okay. Kai is big-headed enough to assume you can talk a Colossus into letting him paint runes on it.
Sure.
So we'll greet the Colossus respectfully.
All right. Does Kai do anything else besides stand then, or?
Stand up, lean next to the tree,
Okay.
gather Ignatius's corpse, and
Yeah.
just respectfully greet the Colossus.
He has to find a smithy to repair the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Ignatius that comes back, it's a new one.
Okay. So Kai stands up, Lothar leans on his spear, and the guard warrior burns, continues to burn. You see a grimace on his face. He has to make a resolute check. Really?
He was part of the same chain, wasn't he? Or was
He was part of the same chain. So he is.
He broke free of that.
He
He might want to drop and roll.
It's possible he may
chance to fail his drop and roll.
It's possible he may want to do that. The problem, Hagen, is that, and Lothar probably can see it from where he is that he's so near death. He's a Saw Archon, and you know what? He's going to take something out before he dies. And you're up in the air, probably 30 feet. So the closest thing to him is Gutor. I'm going to move you slightly. because Gutorm is
Gutorm thought he was safe standing behind me.
thought he was safe until you flew up. Gutorm looks up and looks back down, and he sees this guardian warrior just shamble towards him. His hair's on fire, his face is bubbling, like he looks just absolutely terrible, Gutorm. But you know what? He knows he's gonna die, and he brings up his big double axe to try to at least kill something in his last moments. He's at disfavor, right? Because he's cursed.
Yeah.
Okay. And he swings it down on Gutorm.
Oh, Jesus.
Gutorm.
Wow.
Were you wounded? Was he wounded before?
I had a current
How did you take damage? I can't remember.
Tree?
I haven't taken any damage.
No,
Yeah, you
no,
should-
you would have recovered.
Yeah, you had recovered. You're not dead, but it was funny. You're at 4 Gutorm instead of being dead. You would have recovered that by now. I think that was from the Black Leech Rift. It's been a couple days. It's been a number of days. I don't know why you were at 4. You
That's right now.
right. It's 4. So you're at 4.
I mean, this axe hits me, and I just
He
in my pain. I'm looking at Hagen.
he
I'm
definitely
probably giggling and chuckling.
he definitely dropped you because it's more than your threshold. So he hits you and you go prone. Like Hagen's looking down between his feet maybe, and he just sees this massive strike on Gutorm and crushes him kind of down to the ground with his axe, and he pulls his axe out as Gutorm is, kind of there on the ground next to him as he hits him. The colossi, Lothar is just standing there, and the colossi raises up his leg and crashes down on the barbarian that's left. Wow, he's alive. Okay, you see him.
Yeah, surprising.
Yeah, he just glances off of it. Like he probably just gets a glancing blow because he probably hits him with his leg that's partially cut off, and because he just stomped on this other one, in the distance, and it kind of just hits this infantryman at a glancing shot, and he kind of looks out, kind of spins him around, and you see him look at you, Lothar, and he just gets this look on his face that he's just looking at you saying, I'm not dead yet, brother, I can do more damage. Gutorm, you're on the ground, having been stomped by and hit by this guard warrior's axe, and the pain is pretty immense. What does Gutorm do?
Still alive?
Yeah, just barely.
Can I attack him with my daggers from the ground? Like just
Yeah,
roll over,
you
stab him with feet.
you attack at disadvantage. Like you can use your move action and get your daggers, and
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
okay.
And I can use the attack. Was there a place I could press attack twice?
Yeah, usually when you use your dagger, like if you, oh yeah, it doesn't come up for, doesn't it?
Oh,
Maybe because you're prone.
yeah, that might be.
Yeah, it might be.
So I can't use the twin attack while prone?
I guess not. Let me make you
Is it not a separate weapon
Yeah,
option
just
or
make me
ability?
unprone and let's see if No, there's no difference.
Huh.
What level is it at?
The twin attack is only novice.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not pulling up.
Yeah, let's just roll 2 attacks then.
You also
Oh.
do.
I'm sorry. What it might be? You said 2 daggers.
Yeah, he can wield 2 weapons in each hand.
Right, but the twin attack is specifically a single-handed and short. It might be the what do you call it? The little
Oh.
tags.
Been misreading.
But you were
that.
probably you probably needed knife fight, which is 2 daggers.
Yeah, the weapons for dagger says short though. What I'll do is I'll just change your dagger to 1d8 because that's what twin attack would do it. And you can just roll the dagger twice or the elven dagger twice. That at least take care of the 1d8 change.
Yeah.
And then roll the other dagger, the 1d6 for the offhand. Oh no, each attack deals 1d8. So you can just roll the elven dagger at disadvantage twice.
Yeah, disadvantage is -2.
Right. Yeah, the first one just clinks off his shin guard. How do you do it, Gutorm?
Yeah, I miss with
You only
the
have 1
first
point of
one.
health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you missed him, he would have burned up anyway.
Right.
Yeah, but can't Gutwell just get this one? He needs this one.
He's so proud of himself.
Yeah, definitely. No, he missed with the first one, and he managed to like just twist around, maybe over on my back, and stab it up on the inside of his thigh or something.
Yeah, you just catch him, just
Yeah.
on the opening of his inner thigh,
Maybe it's just not even. It's not even a deep stab. It's just like the point of the knife, maybe.
hits the femoral artery, and he doesn't really have a lot. He's swaying a little bit, and he probably sways into the dagger too because he's still burning. He sways into the dagger, so it goes far deeper than it probably would have, and it just crumples down beside you, like sits down cross-legged and looks at you. He's burning all over the place, and you see him just grit his teeth and try to raise his dagger up again, and just his eyes get glassy, and he rolls over, still burning next to you, Gutorm, as you attack him from the ground. Hagen, you're flying above all this. You see one who's prone here, who's just trying to get up, but really, like, he looks terrible. And you hit him.
Even worse now.
Right. You hit him with a black bolt, and he just kind of shudders a little bit. And his head bounces and hits the stone underneath him. You paralyze the next one. He doesn't get to go. Kai, are you gonna sit there and just watch this last one?
I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to hurt him.
Right, you can see he just stuck there. Hagen is flying way above you. You see this lance of power come from the sky and hit one, and then jump, like through the Colossus, like wrap around him and hit this other one. And he's just kind of stuck. Lothar, you're leaning on your shield, and that one looks back at you, and you see it, and then he just seizes up he just kind of seizes up, and the colossus kind of lifts its one leg up as it bears down to stomp him again. Does Lothar do anything?
Yeah, I feel like I should put him out of his misery.
before the
Time
Colossus
to
does
meet the
its
blood,
form.
Megan.
I would roll it with favor. He's not moving. It's right. You how do you take him out, Lothar? As he's just standing there, rigid.
Yeah, straight to the heart. Go meet the blood daughter kinsman.
You stab him through, and you got your lance spear through him, and you just pull it out enough when the foot of the colossus just slams down on top of him, and just crushes him, like, makes you step back 1 or 2 steps as it crushes him down to nothing. And the colossus kind of stands up on its one leg. Its other leg is like 3/4 of the way short from its thing, and it just kind of swings its big kind of head around with these giant horns that are made out of wood. Like the whole thing is kind of constructed almost, and it kind of looks down at you, and it looks south, back the way you came, and it lumbers, on this one leg, and it starts lumbering kind of southwards back through the trees and down the path that you all came. What you all do is it just kind of lumbers past you. It's a huge thing. Hagen, you're probably, just barely above it as you're looking down, as you're levitated up above Gutorm. What does the company do as the colossus starts lumbering away?
I'm going to descend down to the ground and then follow it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Kai, how are you going to make this your pet?
Well, hopefully it can't reach us back. Creature, do you mind giving us a lift? Run after it.
Right. So Lothar, what do you do as you're kind of leaning off of your spear? You see your dead clansmen. There's quite a few. Only one really escaped, but you see the rest of your dead clansmen around you, dressed as NOI, despite the fact that they're Sarar Khan. 3 of them had double-bladed axes, and 2 had shields and swords, and they had scale mail and chain mail. And the colossus goes tromping through, like it's got one leg that's shorter, so it's like clunk, clunk, through the forest. Kai kind of runs after it. What does Lothar do?
Well, I'll head back towards Butterby.
Oh, okay.
And,
Collect the horse.
Collect the horse, and then see if it's still stubborn. Maybe I'll coax him out with some ration.
Sure.
And you said one of them had chainmail?
Yeah, the ones with helmets, which there's 2 left, had shield and swords. Let me check again to make sure I had the right.
Except some of our loot is destroyed by the Colossus.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think so. I think the ones that it stomped on, the one in the forest was not. So the other warriors that didn't have.
Here, right?
Yeah, so it didn't really kind of crush the guard warriors. They had scale mail and a double axe, really. And one of the ones that only one of them had chain mail, a steel shield, and a sword. The other ones were, crushed by the colossi. And the colossi goes lumbering through the forest back towards the Malgomor. Lothar collects the horse. The path that the colossi makes is going to be exceedingly easy to follow. What does Hagen do as he lands next to Gutorm?
Term, should we gather some, I use the term loosely, treasure from these guys? Or should we just follow Guy?
I mean, we're definitely going to follow Kai, but I'm going to follow him at a very slow pace.
Okay, so do you want to loot the body?
Yeah, I think we'll take whatever we can.
This one's mine, I say, and stands up, pull out the knife, wipe it off on the body, and go away. Right?
Yeah.
Looking around, hoping the other guys see me.
Yeah, the double axe that one had, Gutorm stands almost as tall as you. It's a long hacked, double-handed weapon. I'm sure you could drag it behind you if you want it.
Oh, someone can have this if they want to. It's not my kind of weapon.
You quickly kind of rummage through them. You find about 27 coins, thaler equivalent. You could collect what you want, unless you really want to undress them and take the chainmail, one set of chainmail and the scale mail. But you also may have time to come get that afterwards, after what happens next. As you kind of quickly.
What was it with range? Does the scale mail affect that in some way?
Scale mail is just tough. Like it's like plate mail.
Armor only affects magic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could use a scale mail as an archer, ranger without any problem.
Yeah, you might have to have it changed for your size, but
Yeah, is the impeding a thing if it's like standard medium, or is that flexible?
Scale, I think, is just standard. The chainmail might be flexible.
So they're wearing medium armor, which is what their scale mail is. They had other benefits, and it offers better protection than light, and it is slightly more restrictive. But it's really a trade-off for melee combatants. So it's just kind of common medium armor. It is impeding, so it has a -3.
Yeah, keep my light armor.
Okay.
I need to get away quick.
So,
depending on situations, we might be able to just take a lot of stuff. It is now midnight.
Yep. So what I'll do is I'll just tell you what happens. The colossi essentially walks back down your path to the Malgomor, and you left the witch's body at the edge of the stream, right? And it bends over and picks up the witch in its one arm and just kind of stands up on its one good leg and looks down at you, the four of you, Lothar on his horse, and reaches out and just like almost touches you but doesn't, and then with the body of the witch crooked in its elbow or its things, starts shambling off back into the woods of Davokar.